Anywho, hi, my name is Megan Dorenzi,
I'm Alex
and
Ermgatz.
we will be presenting Formula One in the Middle East, our map presentation. So here it is.
This is our map presentation. This is a map of all the Formula One 2023 circuits in Europe and the Middle East.
So the history, though, of Formula One in the Middle East really circulates around Bahrain and Bahrain Grand Prix. The Prince of Bahrain, which according to Pirelli, a major petrol head, was able to be a major sponsor of Formula One to be brought over into the Middle East with his petrodollars.
What's Pirelli?
Pirelli is the tire company and a major sponsor of Formula One. They supply all the tires for Formula One, and as you can imagine, tire wear and tear on the fastest tracks around the world, kind of a big deal. Bahrain, as the first track within this region, it started this massive influence of expansion of Formula One into regions beyond Western culture, because again, before 2002, most of the racetracks, they were in Europe, they were in America, they were in Australia. After this period of time, we started seeing tracks in Asia and the other three remaining tracks here in the Middle East. Additionally, Bahrain, as the first, they established the longest contract in Formula One history to continue hosting the Bahrain Grand Prix through 2036. So that would be a 32-year-long contract. And economists say that this will have benefited them with a net of $1 billion because they're able to now host these international motorsport events. The next track scheduled was supposed to be in Dubai, but the interesting part of this is
the chief executive officer of the Formula One group was set to meet with the Prince of Dubai, and the Prince of Dubai canceled on him because his racehorse was dying.
True story. Being totally petty and upset that he had his meetings rescheduled, he called the prince in Abu Dhabi and said, hey, do you want to build a racetrack for us and host the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix? And obviously they did. Additionally, in Abu Dhabi, the location of the track is on Yas Marina. This is an entirely man-made island, entertainment island, which is also the location of Ferrari World, which is a theme park devoted to racing and racing culture. Each of these three road circuit tracks along the Persian Gulf are very close in proximity to the largest oil field in Saudi Arabia, the Gawa track, which accounts for 17% of the world's oil. Now, while Formula One has stated that they want to sort of diverge their image from oil, similar to how the Middle East wants to diverge their image from oil, it's kind of funny how they build it right next to these fields. Now, Qatar was built, I think, within the same year of the Yas Marina track. And one of the biggest elements of this track is in the middle of the desert. And when you are standing in the track, you do not see cities, you only see sand. And because of this, it isolates itself further from the capital cities, and it capitalizes on the exoticness and the niche capacity that the Middle East fills within Formula One. Additionally, also the sand, because it's windy. It's windy in the Middle East. And when the sand comes onto the track, it creates a low grip environment, which really makes these races very exciting because we'll see more crashes and we'll see more events happen and how it impacts the car.
But that can also be potentially bad for advertisers, as
crashes
are
as we'll
bad.
See in Morocco.
So speaking of Morocco, all of the tracks we've mentioned so far are road circuits. Road circuits are typically built specifically for Formula One. It's a track built somewhere for Formula One. You drive Formula One cars on it. The other kind of tracks are street circuits. Street circuits are they're roads. They're like in a city, or they're in somewhere, and they're roads that are used by everyday people, but they're blocked off, sectioned off specifically for Formula One for a period of time. Jeddah is the only street circuit that
currently running in
the Middle East. There used to be a street circuit in Morocco as well as one in Istanbul. The one in Morocco was only active for, I think, about a year for one race. It was the grand finale, where the lead man died.
Kind of puts a damper on the whole, let's bring Formula One to the Middle East.
As well as putting a damper on advertisers. That's where a lot of the money is. Money makes the Formula One world go around.
In the words of Abba.
Yes. Turkey had financial troubles with Formula One. They wanted more money. Formula One did not want to give them more money, so no longer really used.
Not a fun fact, no, but an interesting way to think about this is, again, Turkey in its position is the closest of all the Middle Eastern countries to Europe. We can also consider this as a street circuit. we want to capitalize on the exoticness of the Middle East and again bring audiences somewhere where they have never been before. And the fact that we're bringing them to a street circuit relatively close to where they already live, they're probably not experiencing that exoticness and thus the lack of luster in that track.
So the Jeddah track was specifically chosen not only because it's a coastal city like the other cities chosen along the Persian Gulf. Jeddah is a coastal city along the Red Sea. It's chosen
Suez Canal.
Relative to the Suez Canal, it's pretty close. A lot of trade comes through there, and that also means a lot of tourism comes through there. The other reason it was chosen was because Jeddah has streets that work well for a street circuit. It makes for very exciting racing when streets don't go at a 90-degree angle but kind of curve more, because that makes for faster turns and more exciting racing.
And as we can see in this bundle, definitely very curvy tracks. In fact, is actually the second fastest track, comes right after Monza, which is the Italian Grand Prix, known for being the Temple of Speed.
We do see street circuits sort of falling out of style in Formula One. Road circuits, specifically in the Middle East, have become more and more popular because they are these big events that people can pour money into, as well as the fact that they sort of act as a filter for European patrons to sort of filter out the Middle Eastness of it all. A road circuit is going to be a huge stadium. Something like the Yas Marina circuit is going to basically be a theme park. It's like Las Vegas. Where it sort of filters out the entirety of the outside world, and you are kind of steeped in whatever culture they're trying to set up for you. In this case, they're going for a more classic Oriental and mystical vibe. From what I can tell, they're shying away from a lot of the fears surrounding the Middle East since the Gulf War in the 1990s and the war on terror and things like that. They're trying to shy away from that and bring us back to a more classical Orientalism, where the Middle East is somewhere mystical to vacation to and see mystical sights.
And here are our sources.